Siya naman. It's the Marianas Agupa Show with Glenn. Hey,
Day buenas, dan saludo para todo si Paneco, winigi Forum Marianas Agupa, ang Sabado talo Stefanilos ginin I oran alas 9 gagan, este oran alas 11, undang kululu na kulo para todo samzo ne Maneco winigi 100.3 FAMA, vintutumbulo questi gi unsenit na kapasidad elektrisidad gi tunin radio gi Magic worldwide esti dan loki gi Marianas Agupa YouTube dan Facebook para turudo samzo ni Maneco pago na dia bonito na kaani Agosto dia 17, 2024 después di mafanyagon Hesus Kristo isi niya man malefait na Fino puntos mong Sir Antonelli sa isayin na kondisi niya naginin guidza jan giza mga man malefan no itungkon gawgaw na parata kalangit pa na Sabado umaanok na ihababa ba matawan niya iabdaw lo sempita lang no magtugbe no gi humuhugoy i-klema para pa na Sabado lansakan pa na ogan wala zata fansigi mo nagwini zata nailokin daw kululu na agradecimiento isigenti siya na humuhuwi i-programan Marianas Agupa pinili na i-anonymous donor si Jus Masi Puturia Judo maski 15 anyos na hakatsu i-programan Marianas Agupa i-Diabetes Prevention Foundation i-Taber Foundation dylantaber.com sa malatalang mo sa stay
electronic musician, cyber artist, photographer, and author, who has been a master of his craft for over 2.5 decades. After graduating from Columbia University in 1996, Dylan has been based in New York City, Jerusalem, Miami, a remote island in the southwestern Pacific, and now a kibbutz in northern Israel where he is artist in residence.
All right. So, si Dylan, bonito bagay sa soundtrack na humuhuzong di santatin ST programata. Yun na si Dylan Taber. Lumala, datafan sige mo nagbinilopi at tanaw daw kulo na agradecimiento time check na ninakatuto dyan so gini Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Time check, ipresente po ako.
I-COVID-19 amod dyan hinimlo. I-Bravo Pharmacy dyan Central Maulik na hinimlo. Pronto dyan listo na servisyon amod para hinimlo. Agang wato i-233 amod 233-2668. Email is over prescription di bravomeds@gmail.com. Mabababagin in Lunes esta Viernes. Oran alas 9 gigan, estay oran alas 6 point. Sabado, yinin oran alas 9 gigan, estay oran ala 1 gitan talo, ang wato 233, amo 233-2668.
Alright, i-Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center, time check at 9:02. Pangguguha. Mga man malifa kanilos na para in review ang medyo garapan kagman o sinoy nuevo na ramas gizadandan i-Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Tamala, datafan sige mo nagbini. Lokwi, tisinya man malifay na garapan Public Farmers Market Afanelos. Manggagigwi siya i-manfresco siya na kiniset sa nilanso na tisinya man malifay niya, no? Na kumu i-pumududusin ng kano sa masya maones din na nasyon uno na imas unraw na tsotso iparang-produsin ng kano mo. Takumprendiya na pwede tiyo fatto ganon siya para Tiu van halum siya ining kano ginin hizong. O mula siya pinalatsa gihalong itano za gigun dispasyo hinalom niya siya mas kumahuli presyo sino tumatsa gi istante ni tinda. Kasi nigi na debita agradece at ta continua esti na industriya panilos i lansiria para food security. Alright? Kasi nigi no, zamala natapan sige mo nagbini. Lokwi uno na komisyanti gwini iaturid at pugwa ugam jan sanga umu CNS store Mido Road Garapan este bula siya man mafafata Starbucks coffee wa siya gwi loko jan Micronesian fish dengin kakao watu siya tiung gasa di mangrove crab lo agang watu 670-484-1267 o sino 670-287-1267 check sa gwagwi siya no magmangi la mala tala hujung SDG liya siya panielos right tanahon este Alright, pues mga manmalefa kanielos, CNS Store, Mido Road, Garapan. Bisita wato din sa agyan siya. Alright, pues mala natafan siya mo nagwini. Lokwi EA's air conditioning, kumusiya aturidad manalignan air conditioning ikaritamo. Bisita wato si Aimee, A's air conditioning, kaya kita tini Spice Store. Bisa si ihagas tarusu gizagarapan. So ngani si Aimee na unhungu este na mensahe siguro zo na manayaw sempre discount kung siya ay aturidad Ace Air Conditioning Garapan. Lokwi sa gimbubay ang papa luta mga maleka natin saga gi Coro Garden Rota Hotel check si Kindo sino si Rit gay giha gi Kantun Tasi. Alright, kasi nigi no otro binilokit na para talangnos pud i-klema na itasasangan pag na ogan Sabado na tihababa matanya sa biyayad daw no wala didi mugo yung banda daw i-klema para pag na Sabado mafatugin i Joeten Markets and Department Stores celebrating 75 years of serving the people of the CNMI. Shop local, shop Joeten.
Today's to you by Joeten Markets and Department Stores, celebrating 75 years of serving the people of the CNMI. Shop local, shop Joeten.
All right. So mga malifan no? Shop local, shop Joeten. Wala na talag no si Clema para pa ako na Sabado. Umaano pa ako na Sabado kanyelos na utsan hulo jan lamlam sinya tali pa ako na Sabado. 82 igradua na parugay gigwanaw sinya itsansa magay na para tudit dia it notsi ini ni paingesti itsan maski 80% pues humidity tumunog papa ti mandang sungit para pago na Sabado sa kudi itsan na dia notice para umuzong niya za imanglo ginin haza lutsan za haridon dia dididi gagi storm sino i guaha kinalamting no manglo gilitsan iisla siya pues ginin haza lutsan katan hinananaw niya i manglo gidosi mijas di ore no para pag na Sabado na siya umananaw estes Agupa kalan dia notsi talo no mesgo matmo itsan mapatumagin ako gini ni Joeten Markets and Department Store Shop, Lugo Shop, Joeten. Kung sinigi, para pago, nakaani, dyan hatut sigo, esta agupa. Na-claim natin, mapatugin ni Joeten Markets and Department Stores. Alright? Shop, Lugo Shop, Joeten. Lokoy, malad na tapansigya mo nagwinisa, guwahan lokoy specialist din na mensahe, iparata na kuzong gini, mapatugin ni Jota candidate for Delegate Kimberly Hines. Wala na talang masiste.
Half a day dyan tiro mangguaidzadzun na Manauto Marianas. Na onno si Kimberly King Hines hagan Serafina Rosario King Neighbors sa malalagudzu para by who representa inotti Marianas como delegado midzu gila legislaturan Estados Unidos. Como abogado, listudu para by tuli idibotuhu para by who muzi diretsopta todo. Hugagago fabot midzu ni botun midzu botun kumpiyansa para gohu gimamala na eleksyon in November 15. Sin mas, si Zeus masi todo samzu jam biba Marianas.
Alright, mala data pansigya mo nagwinit sumukan ipugaman Marianas Agupa. Bago na hani ang panilos i-oran alas 10 pero para tanakwais di 3rd Senatorial District Forum para estisiya na maniluta igwaha interes niya manitbigi kapasidad senador binigi islan sa ipan 3rd Senatorial District di oran alas 10 Tapos, siyempre at explica kay Manuel para hinanaon niya muna. Tuwa nagwa siya interes ni publiko na isinya man-akan, guwaha esta siya. Manholom siya kwestiyon, gini hinirat publiko. Siyempre at explica daging para tatutuhon, ipugamata. Finini na, fanilos, mala, datalang nos dongkulo na kulo. Para ito siya man-iikungog. Masaya mono na lugar, binigisan sa ipan, mono na sungsung, o siro luta tinian, Guam, luta manikong Amerika, doon kulo na kulo, sige na molong din si Joanna Ada, buenas, panahogo, Joanna Ada, alright, no, mala, tatapang siga mo nagwinino, muna holonisti, kulo siya ni manggagi gwini, pinini na para si Parin Robert Mundo, pero gay kifanan pero fotos ni Chiluta gini nilanso pago na sabalo. Lumii ko kao smartphone sa sinya un jetik telephone mo sa live no telephone mo stiki streaming. Tapos para hago pa rin Robert Mundo. Happy birthday kulo para si Richie. Ungan si Richie Loki. Pa rin Richie mangdo niya. Alright, si Richie. Sige, kanta na ng oon gisan tatin ni programatas. Sige, si Richie. Alright, happy birthday kulo Richie. Para si Teoma Inos Lokwe. Yung ginumay ko kao Teoma Inos, happy birthday kulo si Kimberly Kwan. Alright, Kimberly Kwan. Happy birthday kulo si Lino Marcy Tenorio. Happy birthday si Lydia Babauta Lokwe. Lagi si Lydia America, si Wilbur Sablan, happy birthday kulo. Helen Sablan. Si Ron Ogo, Lokwe, happy birthday kulo. Ron, bueno papa, Luta. Si Nini Camacho, happy birthday kulo. Adeline Komogay, happy birthday kulo. Si Dan Camacho Lokwe. Ginumay ko Dan, happy birthday kulo. Si Lynn, alright, si Lynn Sablan, Dandan. Sa Pikininyo as Brother Benny, Danila Dinner. Alright, Lynn, happy birthday kulo si Rita de la Cruz Lokwe. Rewa si Rit Lokwe, makuni sa Pikinina sa Justice de la Cruz po mana dinner. Hogo Lokwe, Heather Pangilinan, happy birthday kulo. Para Hogo Dan si Sharon manglo niya lukis lagi na mo lang happy birthday kulo. Kasi nigi para pa ko na Sabado Afanianos wala zata fansigya mo nagwinit sumukan iprogramata sa hunggan magay no wasya asunto manggay gigipison inadingan pa ako na Sabado. Finini na Afanianos no wasya bisita man matubin na simana para ufan maatan ufan mali lokwi half man masusesidi apa siya na importante siya na asunto no siya sulit para isang papa na guma Estados Unidos na kongreso siya staff 8 siya purin siya no hunaleron ato siya na kongreso isang papa na guma sa Amerika US Congress magtumagi sa mga manhunta sa ni gobyerno segundo gobyerno Telacio tanto tinian lokwe wasya man maaatan siya man maiiko hafa siya na no importante siya man masusesidig wini na siya loki man adjuda man maatan hafa loki fina aposta wini na hagas salapi na man salapon wini Islas Marianas ini eno sempre na gumamas report para adjo siya na kongreso i ma-representa o sino i komite i pison kongreso Estados Unidos kasi ni gano na bisita ay magtumagi no lokwi no guaha kumaka diding halom uno na proposo ma-introduces di ni Senadota si Daro Magnolia Senate Bill 23-67 no amnesty na no tima patsalo maulik na ma-introduce pa August hanggang sa siya na problema hafafanait donc na si Diyos Mose para si Senator Magnolia na halag nuses para sinya para muna zangin mama layas dito man mapitmiti ato siya na mediko man gagi taulot man gagi isang hitsong siya iti man US na mediko no man ma-train Telacio US trained doctors no man pinitniti kumo ma-process din na bill 23-67 para ufan manoy pitmission na siya ma-practical lokwi no uma-extendi no si vision no doktor para ato siya ito tayo siya within a specialist o siya no man manoy na zangin ma-process din na Senate Bill 23-67. Uno estigi ramas iparatakumbida maugi ato siya naman natauto iman literal iman amko silver AIDS naging siya medikon taolog medikon sa panis na siya mapraktika gwini man manoy nino na permit ipo ma-practice gwini sa siya loki ma-extend nino na mediko no service para ato siya na solidano sa panis o sino Koreano. Kasi nagiginaw na siya ninay mas puwetsa bandang turis para iti siya ilinya silver age. Uswa iti siya dalalag niya benefit zangin umananaw mamalayas ti. Uno no netatugo ta comprende no na man Muniro manamko gininhisong man magtumagi po rason na zangin wahas sinisidin niya gwini. An man magtumagi sa tawag sa mediko na siya man adingan gi lingwahin niya tat kumot sa panis. Sa inigi na siya mas ana paha mo na ibandang turis zangin man ilihibli medikon sa panis o sino hadi siya na foreign doctors na hindi man lisensya binigay US territory siya man minayanes din na medical permit man inalaw na siya mapraktika wini. Tapos pwede humana na uno na kujuntura gibandan silver age na tourism na mauli sige mo na estilo hakantea ipisun kongreso isang hilo na guma Yung outro wini afanelos pun demokrasiya na manggayigihit za tatungwa na guanabe na imanawtaw-ta guasya interes niya man malogo i diferentes kapasidad serbisyo opisinang publiko za uno esti i guaha intensyon niya, uno esti na magita wini imapos na Sabado si Director James Rafan umuzon na mapunta gi gobyerno esti para bisaw gi hindu esti OVR law pud iguaha interes na manipig otro na kapasidad harisig na gini na si Mauna yung mafaksa siguro guaha interes niya pero manipig otro na kapasidad law yung mismo tempo matsutsu gi papa uno na sindalo esti gi papa administrasyon palacios sa no pudino na rason ito na pareho no inananaw niya sa administrasyon resignagwi sa tumawag sa estapaw tumaygwi di opisina vocational rehabilitation. Alright? Takumprendi afanelos na istina hinanon politika bula siya interes ta sa tamano ita sa sangan na iparofan manibbi manawtawta parewa gi diferentes kapasidad isang papa na guma sa hilo na guma i-delegate na posisyon, i-konsihilyo siya na posisyon, dyan aso siya mga non-partisan. No, enaw siya na posisyon, no, talili, nagawa siya interes, di halong i-komunidad. Sa puli demokrasiya na manggayigihit, siya na paratatsaba, enaw siya na interes, o sino minalago, i-manawtawta, parofan manibbi. Lo uno gini na asunto, zaw na bay deka, ngayon na dididi na umaano sa gining ihalatsa isti siya imaniluta i-flourish ihalo ni komunidad imaniluta famalawan siya umaano na siya hulo man malago man manidbi sa umano keno gi interior mundo afanelos gining presidente umaano na si Kamala Harris Palawan lopit Istatalia gihalatsa nagwasya interes gi famalawan za manmidgut na timpos di famalawan. Mano wato para islang Guam, Palawan talo. Si Ludi Leong Guerrero, za gumihilulo Umaan siya famalawan manmidgut. Sige pagod nagwalok interes na paro makontra si Moylan gininas Ginger Cruz, Palawan si Ginger Cruz. Usumano ka fanelos na Steve Famalawan, sige muna mas mananako ispulon niya para pagod na tempo. Ano ni Islan Luta, may Palawan, si Aubrey. Umanog binigis lang sa ipan na tres na senador esta maguguti posisyon. Puro assist siya Famalawan. Zangin panon na fansikat, isti siya na Famalawan zan boys. Pumalo siya na no wadi didi, siyempre no siya di ana fansea iloy bini sa pero di man kalaktus ispulon niya siya siguro zo na man hindi ko na fansikat siya guwag ni siyempre no siya no tawag siya man nina fanlimpyo o siya taalog na mampus siya no natinilay ka gitano sige mga hulo ifamalawan ta siya no sa umano na no naptutsi niya gwenaw gi importante loke na sinintes di para panggay ginaw siya sa tanak nagit mano asita sa sangan naging presidente hulo esta na sige mga hulo sige man anso dan man manuso ispulon niya siya sa gigon mangolo siya naman apatik gawa sa privinisyo niya man panlimpyo o siya nigi afanelos na asunto para pa ako na Sabado sa mala sa Puliora tapanhano agwato ili eskwela agatete afanelos datsatsuki report no apa manggaygi galon ikito nesti luta Buenas.
Glenn.
Alright, so sige mo na.
Buenas, Glenn. Ay, naminesgo, luta. Mesgo. No. Madog keto sa tormesgo. Lao, sinimbatgo. Bula, espirituta masyaman. Podgonhit, lao, moligi tempo. Buenas todos, dan saludo. Para todo hamzo ni mane ikung gwini ki Marianas Agupa programan konversasyon Forum-Chamorro ginin hamzo gwena gisangkatan na isla siya sa ipan tinian luta principalmente ginin ikatbu jan mamis na isla jan con todo lo que ginin Estados Unidos jan masya amano na lugar ni tumatitiji este na especial programa half a day hamzo todos. Antes de Baisiki Mona Glenn, Malaguzo, especialista na Chilu Negayigi sa Portland, Oregon, si Sylvia Atali Regis. Dangkulo na kulo siyo sa Memorias para Todos Samzo. Finene na maguf na mensahe para i-tauto i-Campus of Free Association. Department of Labor, Departamento 8, hana fan manunungo todo itauto ginini Compact of Free Association si hanalugat na manyas Amerika jang con todo gwinigi islangwahan na estapago mangkwalifikaw siya para i-disaster unemployment assistant sigun gimapasa na lahi sa Amerika US Public Law 118.4a 118.42. Todo Compact of Free Association ni manyasga ginigituan jangin sa kaso madeklara ira después de marzo 2024 janina fandanyo siya esta sempre estinalay US Public Law 118.42 dinafang kwalifikaw siya para fan manaya juro ginini disaster unemployment assistance. Gimalofan na pagzon mawar tatigi 2023 bekay na tauto Compact of Free Association maninapekta law timang kwalifikaw para fan man receive mo este na klase na judo maseha man manapika halokwe pareha para i-pandemic unemployment assistance. Governor na esta sige mo na manhanaw-hid mo na komunidad ha todos gwinigiza Amerika. Marekognisa todos sididano ni Compact of Free Association naman importante siya loke puri contribution ninyi ha para i-ekonomiya at todos gwinigi islamahan dyan enteramente i-close. Man mambisita magi kuahan i-officialis national dyan US Department of Labor gi tutun este mes de agosto. Rason finatuniha para umakunduk audit pud i-disaster unemployment assistance na programa imawar na pagzo. Manggof ikontador siya sa masoda na kumplido dyan mauli todo itsetso niya ni machowi zakahan. Gof maulig na report matsulitati para i-federal sa Amerika. Nina magufi goberno as Luliong Guerrero sa hagasahatanga para usinya ma-estende masa juro para sudidanan i-Compact of Free Association gisa Guam. Alos últimos, isay na hungo gitinadzuzot. Goberno Leon Guerrero sa mattumpahin estinadzud. Dangklo na agradecimento. Departamento Nemlo Publiko dan Division Environmental Health ha bibisay General Publiko na mga manyotso siha o sino mabendimahi nagwihan gini sa Ecuador jan Taiwan sigun imalista gini ni US Food and Drug Administration Import Alert 16.05. Este naguihan posible na Zalibiano hininahaw. Bumababa todo man maayos naguihan o sino finakan ni siya Jangin timaulik maningeng niya i-ice, bag, o sino i-defrost. Kumutsa od mo ibineno ni Guihan, siyempre timaulik sinintemo, managaga fasumo, man makakato di tataw-taw mo, momong siyempre korason mo, ti klaro'y natatan mo za siyempre da usaw. I-division environmental health ha imbestiga sa hasoda na i-Leon Fung Enterprise Wholesaler ha suplika isigantisiha na business gwinigi sa kuahan. Pues, eto siya nagwihan ni Mambinen manhanag ato para i-BJ Barbecue sa Harmon, it's Chamorro Island Barbecue gizagad niya, Kalianti, agad niya, aganya liquor store gizaganya, baby hotel gizatuman, day by day market gizapiti, Pan Pacific, retail Guam management gizatamuning, Dusitani Guam Resort, Holiday Guam Resort, House of Chin gizahaganya, Hard Rock Cafe gizatuman, Hilton Guam Resort and Spa gizatuman, Jamaican Grill aganya zanderero, Jeff Pirates Cove Talafofo, Marina Grill gizahaganya, hagat. Pacific Islands Club gizatuman, Shirley's Coffee Shop aganya zanderero, Sakura Noodle House Tamuning, VIP House number 2 Tuman. Na siguro na untumo klaro na sa Guihan patkat nini para estapago timan muna na dyan iripian dyan inspection eskwela publiko ni man ginatsa indukto zama di teni di tempo para uma sanu i fasilidad eskwela para i estudiantisi. I-opisina ni gobyerno man meeting dyan i-tawtaw fasilidad eskwela, GDOE, gwiniha gilunis, dyan mapresenta gwato i-gobyerno, lista siha ni nesesaryo para umaregla gikara eskwela, pud para upasa inspection, i-public health, kosaki umababa. Maunisinya na sinadig eskwela. Majorya na problema, di manisisita repetat kikomo fasilidad ikemon. Esta man maoda material sadik za umana funadzan estinatotso. I-gobyerno hamanda tawtaw DPW para ufan manajuda gwatu gi George Washington High School. George Washington High School uno ni mas guide efekto na eskwela zaha nisisita bula na material na umaripya. Ti fahong gilaw ta haftaw ha kasi ito siya eskwela ha susesedi guiza este jangin man matsotso giridon sinya ti usa i defecto jati necesario este na class yo lokwe bula ajurun kana girin diferentes organisasyon members ililas latura siya jan i division man manajuda para o matokit seto amoni sinya na sinabi. Pwede umatungo leksyon niya, ginin eskunaira, datiu ma esperensya, taigwini talo o tusakan. I-gobyerno, ti hadis po ni i-GDOE, gibandan ang reglamentong fasilidad. Dyan man prokaran material para necesidad eskwela siha. Glenn, kalan uhaso nagwapang faisin so question?
Unggan no pinini na no ti inefektay luing fong no neno binigin sa saitan enay wasya man matto man na produkto.
Por rason na huri properta na por guahan law utungo ha na i-business ya gini gizaluta man oda gini ni fong loke supplier. Sinya ha, buenti, inafekta pues importante na departamento hinamlo uhutsong sa ngelo imbestiga lo ke na klase sinisedi para hamjo ulo.
Di otro no wasya mga susedi ko ni gihalatsa gi islan guahan pud asunton mana ma corona uno na ubispota maginin as Santo Papa. Sino explica di no kapeno signifikasyon niya no si Archbishop Ryan Jimenez?
Glenn, kinimprende ko tati esti maski 10 años na tempo. Pineni na no si Archbishop Jimenez tutuhon niya na hatungo hid gwini na banda gi naghihiloy krobus makoni ma-hire para maestro gi San Francisco Elementary School za honanay dankulo na apreciasyon jan kudos para si difunta Benedict sa giza kumone magi giza luta na si Señor Jimenez para maestro. Pues sinya 22-3 años malofan hadisidi na para tulay ka niya za hulo sa ipan no pues humano tati no Philippine za umiskwela mas pues ihilo eskwela niya o sino mano hulo za pumapractice na di seminarian lao pineni na dispensa zo tutuhon niya aga sa umiskwela po seminarian antes di maestro pues hali nagwahas sansanya hali naman kita mampus mamali gwini gi jota siya mai za enobentin na hapit ko na para hano za estudia mas po demandam pali za para fanyet bigini gi islat pues utimonya iutimo na teniyo gaigi za saipan nanyenyet bi pues gotpi tungo talo na gracias a Dios sueti magaires ni sueti na masya mano kayo masya mano na maduk ne kayo champion le na usta sueti pues vanidoso jandangkulo na agradecimiento si Sister Benedict na hakoni magi sa Aiza lala dangkulo na minaguf para visa sa antigvisa 20 tungo Archbishop Jimenez por este magi na lugar da bonito todo man vanidoso todo ne jota Archbishop zagay pago Guam.
All right, pues congratulations para si Archbishop Ryan Jimenez. Uno na matanso sa makorona gini na Santo Papa para visa dirigi mo na kinilon Katolisismo binigi Islas Marianas. Congratulations, Luz Masi. Wala gatuti po rin, no?
Bonito sucedi sa bula to sa ipan umisgayong guato. Ala kwenta kalampo ma-entrega guato Guam na izota bishop. Pues bonito mampus very momentum gi Paraguay sa aatan na sermones. Da si Diyos Masi todo man matu ginin sa ipan para tatiji Papa Archbishop.
Alright, sige mo na din na open na sunido pues tafanana na watu gilamasan kuri winigi Marianas Agupa Diyos Masi wala gatiti talo sa naging gwagwa timpo mo sagaha sa sinya taistira iyan monazan Senatorial Forum. Alright, si Diyos Masi sustain wa gano mana panilos tafansiga winino Zoometric esti programata. Alright. Para iman-ikuk afanidos gi tararanas inadingan Forum-Chamorro tres esti na mass media no muhuzong pinili na 100.3 segundo na mass media tune-in radio. Otro na mass media na umuzong programa Marianas Agupa kada Sabado is Magic 100.3 worldwide. Dos na platform na umuzong ni Marianas Agupa di social media, YouTube, Marianas Agupa YouTube. Otro Marianas Agupa Facebook. O sa Redondea todo isla gini jan lokui entered mundo di streaming. Para todos ato siya maneho di Marianas Agupa Forum-Chamorro. Sige na itapartitika kanilos ilingwahin ihila na nata gini kada Sabado. Importante este Hindi ka mas mana-comprended na banabay na manat tungtung ihinasu ideo siya lo gininino. Na siyempre tasoday futuro para todos dan para todos ano siya man mamamayla na henerasyon. Kasi mas malaga na along kuri tapos na magwato. Ilamas ang kuri, buenas kuri. Alright, Kuri, konsige mo na.
Buenas, amaga, dan hafa aday, taw Marianas, dan lokoy telemundo kumo guida telefon halay-hay, Marianas Agupa YouTube channel, dan lokoy Marianas Agupa Facebook. Daw na bay epok sina dan sita o sino sinang dan sitaan na aligaw ifamagun dan fankinini kwatu di telepon halay-hay, YouTube dan Facebook di Marianas Agupa. Wah di na sunto para fan masusedi dan man masusedi na simona. Ifinene na ganansya para gobernamento ta sa Estabado na ugan da kada Sabado. Da dos na Sabado na ipumaseolo wato di Marianas Business Plaza iagas Nauro Building tatungwa duwi da saipan na imetkaw masusese di ginin na size giegan estay taluani daw soda na manaliligaw lugar na parabay upolo ikaritan mami no itiling niya disability parking utufong nagwahas 5 na kareta man mapapark siya sa gani parking lot disability danaw ata niya kareta pada disability placard ileko na dangin tatsulido 5 na kareta na 250 umudong 250 na dia, pinatinas niya mohon, gobernamento law tada kasino umaatan da gikada Sabado da maina sinya gobernamento mamatitinas masya meet is di kada simana. Y otro loke daw na behasa po rin, no? I mismo kumpanya na munagwagway na serbisyo tigogov anok kulod asud o sino para udinitimina proprio sagan na pumapoli karetan niya disability po so question kau kung todo kumpanya debi umutta da 5 na parking lot dadangin na parking area no dadangin multiply na para namutay kumpanya aday napago na ani sinya dos meet pinatinas niya gobernamento po enigi patan asunto no dadangin tato do businesses gini komensyante gini da sa ipan luta dan tinian da tanga fanrekto activity mispo ko na salapi po halong gobernamento. No, enigi uno na asunto na uli importante umaatan para ganansya ni gobernamento. Otro, bago na ani, gofi importante loke na in atan, i-offer bidan niya Marianas Variety, Saipan Tribune, KSPN News, KUM News, dan NMI News Service sa Hafa, ila una bago na ani, no para ufang konversasyon dari 5 na magaganti para US delegate na posisyon pues fan halong Facebook the inserts na halong di CNMI SPJ sa mangkinenya amlo halong ne para ikumo iminsay niya 5 na kandidato para delegado na Amerika talwa CNMI, capital S, capital P, and capital J. Kung na halumeno, tuna na sa wagwato na kung pago ila una. Iminatres na asunto, daw na by 5 cents si Kuela Agatete since with the gay gwena with the luta da ubisita watu iagas kuleo nay hana nay guida administradora no waha gwini video no si nay patalagnos para ta ega dididi pud edu i anuncia 3 semana tati na tempo por eti first annual no youth summer aquaculture no waha video no para tanaano sa esta no matuluta i para pineksay i mangrove crop da sinya si Kuela Agatete otro semana while niya video na iti para umas u question si Senyor Jerry Barcinas no hafa mas por este i mangrove crop na no arito na pineksay da cosa que mas para tatungo lan malago na para unagan no watus lutas si Senyor Jerry Barcinas sinya unagan di numero 670 532 9513 este que pago no diridi na no video na isinya nili of a successive pues by explica mas cuánto para tinian cuánto para saipan. Mientras que umaano mi video, no dawa na bay na manungo na senpi luta 500 na no sagania i crop, tinian 500 loke, winigidasyan saipan no meat na kahita para sagania i or kahon para sagan ni mangrove crop, the pago di video.
Crab facility here on Rhoda, and also the new arrival of our occupants, which is our mangrove crab right here. So you can see Chemo taking it out. Here you go. That's our live crabs ready to fatten and care for. Rhoda finally got their first delivered mangrove crabs on Rhoda. As you can see, having a hard time to get out right here. So first arrival from vertical mangrove crab facility here at our Rhoda Center office.
Facebook dan YouTube Inlia na mangunito kamon malapas
I'm in the water.
video no anay man matto iti manlala na mangrove crab no 1 libra i man matuluta da i proposito niya do i paumana fandebo i paumana fandebo sino mana fandobo pues eso na para umamekao do lauti para ikuleo no opportunity para umali na ito da Oholamon, wow, interesado daw, matsegi kuleo tayo mano, na ipafangay produkto tayo eno. Pues si ottimo ini na asunto, no, velo amaga, no, oholamon, sa molik sa apreba na pataon ng alum, Indigenous Affairs Office, dan lokoy Office of Planning and Development, na ipatakit mo mas Manutsinya din ang kolonya do i cultural center na pumatsa gini gikatan uda no na lugar hanggang gini gihoybis kuahan no town hall meeting moling no na masusede no lo sinya mas ta informa ito tauta como kumaigi Indigenous Affairs i Resident Executive kaya duela no Marciano dan si Mr. Ano niya si Mariano ini ni Office of Planning and Development para patali manut sinya no naninangkulo estilan hafa para wahag Aquaculture Center no inawa para bago na semana esta otro semana na itapanali talo siguro sumasi.
Alright. Bonito magay. Report niya si Kuri. Napako na Sabado na mala mention no tanao Palestina Sunido. Tanarang galukwi ibisitata para pa ako na Sabado i 3rd Senatorial District Forum. Todos man makumbida si Senate President Edith De Leon Guerrero, Congressman Manny Gregory Castro, then si Luis Sablan. Nasa pita panitag binigi oran alas 10 pa ako na haami. Kasi siya para tapan. Adingan, question gini nga lumi komunidad po di asunto na hetitikta i manaw-taw-tag nila. So, wala, natapan sige mo na gini, so we time check, pinili na hinihigwi gini i Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Time check.
Ikupitsyantin amot dyan hinimlo. I-Bravo Pharmacy dyan Central Maulik na hinimlo. Pronto dyan listo na servisyon amot para hinimlo. Agang watugi 233 amot 233-2668. Email isomo prescription di bravomeds@gmail.com. Mabababa ginin lunes esta viernes. Ginin ioran alas 9 gega, esta oran alas 6 ipopoint. Sabado, ginin ioran alas 9 gega, esta oran ala 1 gitaluan talo. Agang wato 233 amo 233-2668.
Alright, mga manmalifa kalilos 10 minutos antisa di oran alas 10 pa ako na Sabado. Time check, makutumagin o gini ni Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Mga manmalifa, review amot nito. Di sa garapan, katman o sinunuibos na ramas di sa dandan. Makutumagin o gini ni Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Alright? Wala, natapan sige mo na gini. Panahon no ko i-klema. May makutumagin gini Joeten markets and department stores. Wala tanong hujing isay.
Today's weather is brought to you by Joeten Markets and Department Stores, celebrating 75 years of serving the people of the CNMI. Shop local, shop Joeten.
Alright, pues malak talaga sa i-klema para pago na Sabado. 82 pago na haani, maanok na tiya bababa agi, trivia matanya yan, no? No, inigi na pogaygi pago na ogan taluani zan sinya umanonoy no tunid dia itsan tatuwa esta na dia itnotsi atantangi gini paingi gaparogay gi atalu itsan pago na hani umanonoy no stagupa talo kasi no pudi matmo zan mo utsan para ta susedi pago na hani zan agupa. Lokwi ti parata pandangsung paunahani sa gaygi humidity 78%, 78%. O si Manglo, otro hinanaw na gininhad sa lutsan umanaw lagu. Gi 12 nizas gi ora. Mapatumagin o ginin Joeten markets and department stores. Shop Joeten celebrating 75 years of serving the people of the CNMI. Mga malifan din, no? Yung smasi po din, no? Kung sinigi iklema para pago na Sabado, malagat na kansigya mo na gini. Alright, gatalang nos lokwesti mensahe na mapatugin din as Kimberly Hines, ulos din na kandidato imalalago para NMI delegate to the US Congress, matalang nos este.
Half a day ang tiro mangguaitadzon na Manauto Marianas. Na anu si Kimberlyn King Hines agan Serafina Rosario King Neighbors sa malalagudzu para by who representa inotti Marianas como delegador midzu gi legislatura ng Estados Unidos. Como abogado, listo zo para by tuli idibotuhu para by humuzi di resulta todo. Hugagago fabot midzu ni botun midzu botun kumpiyansa para gohu gimamala na eleksyon in November 5. Sin mas si Zeus Masi todo samzu jam Viva Marianas!
After todos santos Manilu, Manaynaw, Soynaw, todos santos Galong, Chiquillas ng Marianas, sa Iban, Tinian, Punta, Zanguahan. Bago po sa Manila, pagod na okasyon. And todos santos Loco Ginogi America, Viva, Alpha Day, todos santos. And to our visitors who are coming to our beautiful Latin Stone Islands, welcome and a big half a day to you. So, I'd like to teach you how to say half a day the island way. Just reach out and touch someone. Half a day. In the pretty islands of Marianas, you see and hear the children sing as the local people wave and say a simple greeting word called half a day. With a happy smile on the face, you can bet you're in a friendly place. Really meaning what they say, each time they simply say, half a day. Half a day, don't you Malik, how are you? Half a day, don't you Malik, thank you. Half a day, half a day, half a day, half a day. Half a day. All the Chamorro say this word, and they say it many different ways. Like when you meet a Chamorita girl, you softly say, hey, half a day. And if you ever need a native friend, or a helping hand along the way, wear a friendly smile and talk some more style. Half a day. Half a day, Total Malik, how are you? Half a day, Total Malik, thank you. Half a day, 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 half a day.
Okay, last time, so mo tatutunan na ano gusto nagigi si Congressman Manny Gregory Castro in the backstage. Tananang niya si Senate President Edith Leon Guerrero dan si Mr. Sablan. Alright, zata pansigi mo na gini, zata tutuhon ista gumaygi dota Senate President, gumaygi loki si Congressman Manny Sablan, Manny Castro, Talaya, dididim siya. 1 more minute si Mr. Sablan. Okay, tananangga si Mr. Luis Sablan tanay 1 more minute before we begin. Ito tayo Senatorial Forum. Alright, sama na. Okay, just at the outset, I just say we will not take any direct phone call question other than what has been submitted already. It's a monotony forum for us to go for the candidates so that we can get your reaction. But the questions that have been submitted, we randomly pick here. We look station. These are questions from our committee. We have the time para ibutan yung participant in the third Senatorial Candidate Forum. The order of response will be by their last name. So B as C starts, so Castro. We do want to start and respond on the question, followed by De Leon Guerrero with D, and then Sablan if Luis Sablan joins us. But we're gonna begin with the with our forum this morning. Thank you. I'm gonna welcome our 2 participants this morning. Si Congressman, are you there, Congressman? Okay, there he is. Please, to get clarity and for our audience to hear properly each response by each of our candidates, please mute your audio until you're called upon. Again, on behalf of the Marianas Agupa Talk Show team and the community, we would like to extend Noklunas Zeus Mase for your participation. The questions are from our community on issues affecting them. Castro will begin responding to the question, followed by Senate President Edith Leon Guerrero, and followed by Luis Sablan. Again, that's the order. And welcome, President Edith De Leon Guerrero. Welcome.
Welcome, Glenn. Good morning. Good morning para todos.
Okay, that's a good audio check. Good morning, Congressman Castro.
Welcome, Mr. Glenn. Welcome, Senate President. Welcome, CNMI.
All right, good audio test. So, first of all, we appreciate your participation. The people are eager. I've been getting a lot of calls, texts about your participation today, because you're putting yourself as a candidate to serve the people in that capacity, and we thank you for that. We would like to hear, I'm sure most of our people listening online, for those online, we can get your comment at the end of the forum by writing it down. We will not entertain any call during the forum. The phone has been disabled. The questions that are here have been submitted already. So, what do you call this? Let me begin by, we have a time. Kuri is going to be in charge with the time, 3 minutes for the opening statement, 3 minutes for the question and answer. If we have more time at the end, we can allow the other candidate to respond on the other candidate's earlier response, okay? So we can entertain that at the end. But for now, let me call on Congressman Castro to do his opening remarks. Congressman Castro, go ahead and open your audio.
All right. Good morning, Glenn, and good morning, community. First of all, I'd like to take the time to thank all the listeners and the viewing public, as well as thank you to the CNMI government for investing in my education, my parents for Rodrigo and Kathy, my great-grandparents, Nansayed and Tungoro. So I would say, politics has never really been something that I'm very too excited about. But public service has always been my passion. And seeing all the missed opportunities and the availability to help, the ability to help make a change in our community, whether it was at NMC and in my current position, that is the real reason why I'm seeking to run for this position. There are a lot of challenges, and oftentimes it's the policies that can make or break our government. It's the policies that can make or break our livelihood. So again, thank you for the time, and thank you for the ability for us candidates to express our perspective on certain issues. Jesus Masi.
All right. It's within the time limit. Okay. All right. All right. So we'll go with candidate number 2, Senate President Edith De Leon Guerrero. Your opening statement. You got 3 minutes.
Jesus Masi, Glenn. Good morning. Para hamjus todo Toto Marianas. Suman magubzo pago na organ na para tafan hita talo para tafan adingani uno dan otro kudasunton itanuta dan apa siya ta pafana na asunto ganyan ni pro kurihi mo na dan itanota ginigi sa Marianas. Gof magubzo na gagawin ganyan ginap na question ba bifanyad bisat ti estimandan sa bentin public aga sa actually no service tigi no anman tiempo na matsozo gi mandan bangko jan at manzo gi mandan insurance no mutsamas mandan life insurance para protection ni pamilya siya jan igunahan niya jan ifengkas niya pues estigi na fundamento na siniente gi wow midigalong corazon no na tori tiempo protection ni publiko para beneficio ni publiko jan itanota ginigi sa Marianas preciso na ta kudi jan ta na siguro na todo set gini sa Marianas no manggay no oportunidad pero fan molik mo na linala niya sa mas ikuturo na henerasyon di man mamala siya na tiempo. Dang pula na si Diyos Masi para pago na ogdan sa o hala no malika toro mo na diskusyon si Diyos Masi.
Right. Thank you to President Edith Dino Guerrero. Okay, we'll begin with the question that has been submitted. Go ahead and pick up the question, Kuri. Okay, the first question goes to Manny, and actually, and then it goes to Senate President as well. Congressman, the economy is one of the most pressing issues facing our people. Be specific. What would you do to spur economic growth?
So like I mentioned earlier in my opening statement, it's really the policies that can make or break our Commonwealth. Both from the business perspective, but also for our residents. There were several investors that I've met with in my short time as a congressman. Some of them already invested here in the CNMI, small business owners, and also the potential for big business. But one of the first things that they complain about is the tedious process to get started. And at the same time, the costs. So our economy, our economy has been reliant on one source industry. But before we invite anyone that's willing to invest, we also have to think of investing in our people, investing in small business, investing in the middle class, because it's not, over the years, the strategy has always been to bring in these big businesses. But when you build a hotel, for example, the tourists come to experience the local experience. How many of our local people are involved in that industry? How are we supporting people? For example, the case at Maniagaha, it's an exclusive license. Exclusive is not the way. You always want an open market. But how can we balance the two? For example, if we provided the vendor on Maniagaha to maintain the facility, but at the same time invited local producers to provide the food and all of those, we're helping our local community as well. But what we need to look at is diversification and related diversification. So what does that mean? So for example, if we're bringing in people for tourism, what products are related to tourism, and how can we shape the policies to make those industries successful? For example, we have hotels. We can also work with golfers, which earlier this year there were very famous golfers that came in and chartered planes to bring the golfers here. So golf clinic. We can look into educational tourism. At the same time, we're not going to wait for the Northern Marianas College to be built up. We have to create those policies today. We have to look at the policies that are making that are not effective. At the same time, when we talk about diversification, education and energy are also big business.
Okay,
in order to improve the economy.
Thank you, Congressman. Let's bring in Senate President.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Glenn.
You want me to repeat the question? Okay.
We need to work on attracting other industries to invest in our market. And we need other industries that are complementing to our major industry, which is tourism. There's several legislations that has been introduced from the Senate, including myself, that would attract, for example, financial sectors of the economy, digital nomads to come here and we can tax their income, which is we have a very attractive taxation system. The other legislation that I've introduced is also to attract those investors that are making capital gains, but currently our statute does not tax the first 10 years when those individuals come out here and domicile in the Commonwealth. Those are opportunities for us to look at and that we could push forward with those legislations that are currently being reviewed. The other area of opportunities that we need to look at is manufacturing. We need to look at other industries, for example, the semiconductor industry. We all know that national security is a major concern, and we do know that Taiwan is one of the major producers of chips under the semiconductor industry. We got to look at the opportunity. We have made several trips to Taiwan, and I'm hopeful that those kind of conversations in the semiconductor industry has been discussed of our delegates that have gone to Taiwan twice that I know of, so that we could attract these potential investors to invest in the Commonwealth that are not so heavy on manpower, but using technology to manufacture the chips that are necessary. Thank you.
So go ahead and take the next question. Okay, go back to Congressman Manny Castro. This one is about our youth. What measure do you plan to introduce to help our youth?
So the number one, this also ties to the previous statement earlier about the economy. Our number one asset for any business or community is the people. So for our youth, our education system needs to be relevant and responsive to the not only the needs of the community, but what's going on in the world. We have so many, for example, in terms of training and development, we bring in a lot of infrastructure. There's a lot of money that came in terms of construction. But are our people trained? Are we providing enough programs to help our people, our youth, get into these industries? With 25% of our budget going to education, are we getting the results in terms of getting our people employed? So we really need to look at these programs and what's available for our youth. Our youth, with all the liabilities that have happened over the years, it's really the youth, including myself and people below me, are going to be paying for it. So again, the policies need to change. Our education system needs to be reevaluated so that we can provide, for example, if we're going to go into an industry for manufacturing, do we have that program available in the high school? I studied manufacturing engineering for 2 years. And guess what? I studied at the high school level, which was it's called the Center for Advanced Learning. I was able to operate a milling machine, a metal lathe, a CNC, and this was all made available after graduating from Hopwood and moving to Oregon and attending a charter school. So Antiagnes McPheeters tried to do this with NMTI, starting a charter school. But, sometimes we don't understand things or we fear the change that needs to happen, but we really need to evolve. For example, at the college, we have computer applications as an Associate of Applied Science degree. But those kind of programs are already being taught for the generations that are upcoming. So we need to invest, be proactive, and invest more in our youth rather than investing at the end of the line. So if we have more programs available, after school programs and upskilling programs, then we won't have to put so much money into rehabilitation and courts and the criminal justice system. So we have to really look at these programs and make sure that we're getting our return on investment for our youth.
Thank you, Congressman. So the same goes to Senate President Edith. You got 3 minutes. Quick question: what measure do you plan to introduce to help our youth today?
Thank you, Glenn. This is such a great question because it reminds me of how I used to run the WIA program, now called WIOA, and very thankful that the U.S. Department of Labor, the federal government, continues to provide those formula grants for our youth community, including adults and dislocated worker program on a continuous basis. Additionally, all the federal funding that is provided to the public school system to invest in our children in terms of education and training, and all the workforce partners like NM Tech that are also receiving federal monies through grants or partnerships through the CW1 fees. More importantly, when we talk about all of these issues, investing in our future, our future generation, our young children, it takes us back to the revenue collected for our government and to make sure that we have a strong economy so that we continuously provide not just through federal grants, but also through local revenue sources to invest in our young children with respect to their education and training, and also employment opportunity by working closely with private sector industries, employers, so that we can make sure that when they're done with their education and training, and if they don't go elsewhere, they do have employment opportunities to go and support themselves and their families. One of the things that I am a very strong proponent for, which I am pushing in the legislature, is to come out with revenue sources to develop a all year round youth employment program. I strongly believe that our children deserve this and that they could be able to learn more by working early on at the age of 14 and beyond, that they learn about money management, and additionally fold that into the public school system by encouraging financial literacy so that our children do not necessarily have to think that it's only the government sector or the public sector that they could find employment, but they could find employment by becoming entrepreneurs themselves, by giving them the working capital to jumpstart their businesses so that they could also contribute to the local economy through the generation of the business growth receipts tax. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo Guerrero. Let's bring in Congressman Castro. Go ahead and pick up the next question. Okay, go ahead, unmute. The question here is, if you are the candidate elected, how would you start to establish yourself a name recognition that you are that person? A champion of what?
So, I've never been all about the credit. I've always been interested in getting the work done for people. I think for those that know me and what I've been able to do at the Northern Marianas College, I was really at the college a champion of getting things done and moving mountains, removing barriers, and making things easy for the community that we serve. So to this day, if we look at all the different line agencies that we have, are they operating efficiently? The lines at the food stamp is still, some of the constituents say it's like 3 hours at times. Why are we still doing it the same way we've been doing it since the 80s? When you renew your car, why are we still doing paper? Why do we have to bring in the same documents? All these processes need to be evaluated, and the legislation needs to be amended. So if we're gonna, I would be a champion of helping create a responsive and organized government, helping streamline the services by listening to the agencies and working with my colleagues in the House to help pass legislation that's going to make an impact. Because we've been doing the same thing for years. We've been investing in the same industries. We've been providing the services, so how many millions of dollars went into Munis? But then we go back and we put some of the same processes into the system. So it's really, creating a responsive and organized and efficient government, reducing costs and improving outcomes. I could say that would be my strength, and that's what I'm going to champion, so that it can impact the lives of our people. We have so much money that comes in, but we don't use it to make the changes that need to happen so that it can stretch out and benefit our people. And this also includes energy, which is one of the biggest costs. We're still using the same diesel generator when the Biden administration provided so much money for solar and other alternative energy sources. We need to bring in the key players that know what they're doing, and we need to look at what we have here in the CNMI. We have geothermal up north. We can be looking into geothermal and hydrogen and other sources that not only can reduce our cost of energy, but also has the ability for us to export. But if if we're not bringing in those players, we're never going to get to that destination.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Time is up. We'll go with to President Leon Guerrero. If you are the candidate elected, how would you start to establish yourself a major position that you are that person, champion of what?
Thank you, Glenn. I'm actually a very humble person. I really don't like to be placed on a pedestal, but I've been known to deeply care, to take care of people, and to address their issues, and how my knowledge, I could extend that to families and individuals if I could assist them to make it better for them. Within our government, it's connecting people to the proper entities and to making sure that whatever information or service they're looking for, that they are assisted. Besides fixing all the discrepancies or deficiencies of government, I think what is very forefront is to make sure that everything that is done by the government is in the best interest of the people, for the best interest of families and those children out there that are looking for a better life. There's so much that can be done, but if there's no deeper care to make sure that the people are receiving the necessary services and benefits intended for them, then it's not going to do us any good. Sincerity is very important to me. Principle with my background in life insurance, it's all about making sure that people are taken care of, and that if it's anything that we could champion, it is to make sure that the standards of living is higher, the cost of living is lower, and that our people are able to afford their daily necessities of life. That is what we should be championing within the government. The power rate is unaffordable. 2 years ago, I did an oversight with the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation. I truly feel that that's one of the biggest expenses that families are struggling with, besides trying to also secure and hold down employment. And that's the reason why we need to continuously work hard to improve our economy, to bring in fresh capital, to look at industries that are viable for the Commonwealth, so that our people are able to have a better life and produce the necessary income to support their families. We cannot continue to be up on the hill and create our own internal banking system. That's what I call it. And forgetting the people, that there are those out there that are suffering, and we need to make it better for them. Thank you.
All right, thanks, President De Leon Guerrero. We'll go to Congressman Castro. The next question here. What is the most challenging issue in your life and how did you overcome it?
The most, this is a little bit personal, but the most challenging issue, coming from when my, divorced family, and making a hard decision. I was raised by my grandma, so at an early age, I had to make the decision to move to the mainland to further my education. It was a very difficult decision because again, this was just right after Hopwood. I was leaving my parents, living with my aunt. But for every choice, there's a price or a reward, either immediate or long term. And I chose long term. And I chose to move to Oregon to invest, to further my education, because I knew that getting an education is a way out of poverty. A lot of people might have the misconception that, just because my middle name Tenorio, that I come from a wealthy family, but I actually came from a family that struggled. My grandfather was both grandparents were World War II survivors, and they struggled. And with my grandfather, he focused on education. He moved to Hawaii. At that time, he wasn't a U.S. citizen. They were all still under the Trust Territory government. And so I would say it's the same story with myself. Is even though I was away from my parents, I focus on education so that when I come back, it would allow me to have a higher income, better opportunities, and I didn't have to coming in back to the CNMI. Even though I could have stayed out there and worked, I chose to work in the CNMI. I love working at NMC because I saw the impact that we were doing on a daily basis. I was helping people get to that same destination by getting an education so that they can improve their livelihoods. They don't have to use politics or anything. With that credential, it can help them get the job, a higher paying income. So, despite all the challenges out there, just living in the States without my parents and the struggles, I would say that was the biggest challenge, and just having that goal of attaining an education so that I can improve my life and give back to the community.
Thank you.
That was the biggest reward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Go to President De Leon Guerrero. What is the most challenging issue in your life and how did you overcome it?
Thank you, Glenn. This brings me, it reminds me when I started getting into my professional career of banking and insurance, and coming full disclosure of who you are as a person before you start talking to people and trying to convince them of, what you're trying to present before them for their family protection. I grew up in a very humble home. Similarly with the representative, what he mentioned, I was also raised by my grandma. She was my mom and dad. And drawing from that childhood, it gave me the confidence and the strength to learn from her as a strong woman, and not only being educated, but to learn how to survive and not to depend on somebody else. So pretty much coming from that background and growing up and moving on to California with her. Thank you so much for her. She's always been around to the age of maybe about 18 or 19. when she passed away. But that was the most difficult thing. I'm sorry, but it's really emotional. Just very thankful to my grandmother for making me who I am today, learning from her, and from what I learned and from what I learned from education and all the training that I've had professionally. It is now making me give back to the people. And if it's one thing that I could share in Chamorro, she told me, "Munga mo ambienta ni tinungo mo. Nafan manungo todo isinyo nafan manungo. Do not be greedy with your knowledge. Share it with everybody that you could share it with." And that I'm very thankful for. Thank you.
Thank you, President Leon Guerrero. Last question here for the forum. Go ahead and pick it up. All right, let's get to Congressman Castro. Okay. Our natural resources, both land and underwater, in the ocean, how do you utilize it to create a new industry?
So, like I mentioned earlier, one of our economic challenges here in the CNMI is that we have limited natural resources, right? But what do we have that can yield a positive gross domestic product? So, when the Japanese first tried to do sugarcane in the CNMI, there were several people that tried to do it, and they couldn't do it. They brought the one guy who studied in Louisiana, a Japanese guy, and made it possible. And if you look at the history, the numbers that the sugarcane industry in the NMI was producing at that time, and you did the conversion rate, it was one of the most profitable industries. So I'm not saying we're gonna go back to agriculture 100%, because the cost of labor, again, policies can also make us or break us. But the way to improve our GDP is to reduce our imports. And we learned that also from COVID or typhoons, right? So we have to be self-sufficient in the industries that we can be self-sufficient in. And one of that is energy. We have alternative energy sources like the current. We have geothermal up north. And from geothermal, you can convert that to hydrogen. And who's the biggest importer of hydrogen? South Korea, which is not too far from us. This seems way out there, but so did the sugarcane industry at that time. But if you bring the right people, the people that have been doing that successfully, then we can that direction, right? So looking into those natural resources that can reduce our imports, but also natural resources that are safe and not detrimental to the environment, but at the same time can increase our exports. And that is really going to be beneficial to our livelihoods. At the same time, the education system needs to align with that. We have so much solar technology coming in, but are we teaching our kids the skills needed to maintain those technologies, right? So we also, with the limited natural resources, what can we start doing? We can, with hydroponics. At one time, Mr. Pellegrino, when he worked with Mike Ogo, they did shrimp production here in the CNMI, and it was top 3.
Thank you, Congressman. 3 minutes is up. We'll go to President Leon Guerrero. You want me to repeat the question? Or
I believe I got it. Thank you, Glenn. You know, we have so much opportunities to generate income from our land and also from our water. One area is agriculture. This has been an ongoing conversation with respect to the military buildup. And when we look at our crop supply, we may not be necessarily able to provide the entire needed volume, for example, for the military buildup and the businesses here locally. But I think creating that opportunity for farmers to be able to sell their crops to the industry is very important. And at the state level here in the CNMI, we need to make sure that we put that on the table with the military conversations and discussions so that our people do not miss out on that opportunity. The other area that we could capitalize on is our resources from the ocean, our fish stock. A lot of the fishes are caught in the Pacific, area, and a lot of those revenue sources are not really coming back into the Commonwealth that are being fished out of our oceans. We need to make sure that we put that forward also as a conversation with the federal government. It may not be necessarily our own people going out there and catching volumes of fish for export, but those revenues that are being generated from those fish stock that are being caught in our region, in my opinion and my belief, should be coming back in terms of revenue into our Commonwealth general funds so that we could help our people to have a better standard of living. The military outside the fence activities is a huge opportunity. There's so much contracts, federal contracts that are happening right now, not only for workforce opportunity, but also services that relates to the industry, military or tourism. All of these areas that are on land, we need to capitalize on so that we could capture all the revenues that it is producing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, President Leon Guerrero. In our format, we have additional maybe 5 more minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and if we have additional time, which we do, each candidate will be given an opportunity to respond or comment on the answer of another candidate. So we'll go to Congressman Castro. Do you have anything to comment or respond on the other candidate response on the question? You got 3 minutes.
So there are a lot of similarities with what we were talking about earlier. But, one thing for sure is we need to go back and teach our people how to be the sellers. Just like our grandparents when they were in the agriculture industry. My grandma used to sell a lot of vegetables when I was a kid. I would sell kangkong to K-Store in Aslito. It's $1 a bundle. A lot of these things are actually built into our culture. How to conserve. Conservation is not a new thing. Chamorros and Carolinians have been doing that ever since. We didn't wrap our kangkong in plastic. We used a banana leaf and we wrapped it and we put it in a bundle and we sold it at a store. So we need to go back and teach again our people. Our curriculum needs to align and start teaching our people how to be the sellers because we've been too accustomed to being the buyers. And Uncle Sam is really good at that. Grants, food stamps, a lot of these programs are a safety net, which is very important. But wouldn't you rather be entrepreneurs and be self-sustaining and generate a higher income by being the sellers as well? So again, we have to embed that. The bottom line is our number one asset is our people. We need to go back and start making sure that our policies are built and designed to lift our people up and not be dependent on the government.
All right. Thank you, Congressman, for that. Let's get to Senate President Edith De Leon Guerrero. the same question, we have additional time. Do you have any comment or response to
Thank
the
you,
other
Glenn.
candidate?
I'd like to touch a bit on the alternative energy solutions. All of those ideas, geothermal, um, generating energy from the ocean, those are not discussions that are new today. They've actually been discussed many, many years ago, even converting waste to energy. But I think what is the biggest concern of our people is the fuel adjusted charge that is hurting them financially. We have so much federal monies coming in for solar energy. I'm sure that we are working on that, but what we are missing here really is to look at that commodity pricing. I've said earlier about conducting an oversight with the Utilities Corporation and trying to get my hands on the contract for that particular fuel purchase. I strongly believe that at the time of purchase, when those co-options were executed in the investment market to buy that commodity, that could be the trigger of what is really the true price of fuel that is coming to the Marianas and ultimately extending it out to the consumers of energy here in the CNMI. That is one area that we truly need to work hard at. And I'm thankful that the PUTC Commission has been fully organized, and I've been talking closely with the members, the commissioners, to look into the fuel purchase price, to look into the commodities pricing at the time of execution of those options in the market, so that we want to make sure that our consumers are not paying for fuel that was purchased at a huge discount in prior purchase period, but are paying for current pricing that is not being utilized on prior fuel purchase. That is something that is very important for us to look at critically and urgently. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, President Leon Guerrero. We have a closing statement, so we're going to go ahead and go to Congressman Castro first for your closing statement. Congressman.
So just want to say thank you, Marianas Agupa Talk Show. Also, thank you, Senate President, for a very good discussion today on our perspectives. I also, want to say thank you to Senate President as well, because every time we meet up, it's always very professional. And, how being involved in a lot of campaigns, it can get ugly, but, we're above that. And that's one thing I like about this campaign is we still have that. And I hope we maintain that respect and professionalism. And that goes out to our supporters as well. Let's not make this a nasty campaign. We're all trying to work towards a common goal of helping each other, helping improve our community, helping improve the situation of our economy and businesses. And in order to do that, we really need to listen and work with one another. And as we go out through this campaign, I look forward to meeting with each and every one of you as much as possible. And rest assured that when those comments are provided, it does come back with me to the chamber on how to make the changes that we need to make. It's not business as usual. We really need to evolve, and we need to change our ways, so that we can help get out of this rut that we're in. And we also need to look forward. And like someone said, oh, that's a Republican president, Republican or Democrat. I'm gonna use that quote, by Abraham Lincoln. And the best way to predict the future is to create it. So we really need to do just that. The media continues to paint this narrative, but we have the ability to change that. With all the infrastructure that's coming out here with the sidewalks, imagine once those sidewalks are done, It's going to create a healthier community because more of us are going to be wanting to walk. We're going to have a community where walking, it's a nice, you don't have to walk in the Fatsi anymore. And at the same time, we can have street markets in every precinct from precinct 2 to precinct 3 and get our people involved. Because tourists want to meet the people. Tourists want to eat local food. Tourists want the local experience. So let's change the narrative and let's continue to work to improve the CNMI and let our people.
Thank you. Thank you for that closing statement. Let's go to Senate President Edith De Leon Guerrero for your closing statement. 3 minutes.
Si Diyos Masi Glenn, nandang ko na si Diyos Masi no Congressman Loki po di respeto, pago na okan, dan tori tempo. Mucho mas dang ko na si Diyos Masi dan respeto para publiko, ni manek mo pago na okan. Persamzo tumungo hajezo, dan no timasajo no hamzo, masya mano ne manasudayo, managot ipanne sa mangentusit, ang di mamanagan hamzo, una siguro no agan hamzo takti, the return is on medyo ko, anman tempo zo manek publiko, za sincero corazon no babi continua mo sina servisyo para hamzo zange mamalalago hamzo no hak ni gwaho listo jo za corazon ni fit me na todi utsogi gini stress años pago me na 4 años di permit that menu as isan medyo senador para sa ipan tadong galom corazon no na i-benefician medyo basta galom corazon no na todi tempo ya ako tsotsugi dan office na ideya para benefician ni Zuha nasa mas. Sige na rason na gagawin ganyan na pwesto na o gagawin hamzo ni o hala na gwa kampu ni corazon medyo pero na izo talo ni oportunidad para bisedi hamzo sa gwa siya o to siya na asunto malagzo para bitsogi para hamzo. O sa kisinya tapan sige mo na zo malig mas mo na i manihantin Marianas. Sige na rason na tori tempo indi izo o question na si bandan manihantin sa lap sa manhong dizo na zakin igumata igopedamento hisano i-financial tisinya na umalig mo na ilinalay tano dyan itauto preciso na taatan estigi data langin taatan tanatadong inatanta data akudi i-problema sa mosque esta mosque 200 Smith i-deficit Marianas tisinya na pagtagsige mo na itagini na manera debit yung guaha inadahi dyan maulig na manihantin financial di government esti tanota na ni government i Marianas sa hamzo ni publiko urusit sempre man mamadesi sa man na masif magunta para futuro zangi kita kudi siya na dangklong problema sa lapti bula ta fafana sa debi loki i turista i tourism sector tana lola na tana siguro na gwaha siya plan ufan makto mas magi plan san tourist ko sa kisinyo halo fresco na sa lapti ni puro lola ekonomiyan Marianas isinya naman na continue para ta-acceptas sige nakarata birahit gwaha business puro utsum esta gwa siya dangklo na business mampara mautsum petan niya malingo no siya na kapital i otro debi lokit siya na kapital ni manahalom ganyan ni Estados Unidos for example edi SSBCI ni mas 50 mil na salapi infusion edi para kapital businesses itaw-taw ta debi fa manaoy na oportunidad na fa manaplika edi na salapi so mana panyago i-business niya, i-ideya niya, positisi niya, loki manyaw no ekonomiya, oportunidad, so fatala. Sa tinisinaro na po fanggagi na po fan matsoso para gobernamento. Siya loki manggay business siya, so fan man report sa loki niya. Si Diyos Masi.
Lalo no, si Diyos Masi, President. Ultimo bulan man text mo questions siya. Zau na ba entertain lo po di taigwe no ngizo ta format para pa na sabalo. Mis go siya pa verify sinamzo lo taigwe di format lo sinin baggo in nanayam jun dokulo na si Juice Masi para todi tempo nizo na dos. Ta kumbida si Mr. Luis Sablan lo unfortunately ti humalong pa na sabalo. I-program ma-extend niya para ano honesty. Siya ma-entertain i-reaction ginin izotan no listening audience. We'll take that at the closing of this. Juice Masi Inados, thank you very much. Good luck, Congressman Manny Sablan and President Edith De Leon Guerrero for this upcoming election. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Juice Masi.
Right. from break Pablo that may tabira tate pero sa natin panalo ito na seksyon na listening audience reaction. This goes na so the visitor guest candidate for the 3rd Senatorial District this coming election November 5th. So we'll take the audience later. And okay, thank you. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna bring in si Kuri, pues Tananga tababay telephone pago. Dispensa sa tisinya tatsuli additional question para yung candidates sa typing format para pago na sabalo lao pago na munatan. Then we can take the reaction. Kuri, wala tatanalom si Kuri afa no sinintenya and afa opinion niya. Kung sige mo na.
No, ginagawa malago do na pabay-facing estilos no un question sa ultima na hita na Northern Marianas Eastern manggugum kada tali no deputante no maopi sa uno da siya siyempre sumenador da siyempre din hardin no introducing legislative initiative deputante sa gaigesting ilota constitution Article 11 ileleg niya na pinakay kung dito ang senators manawag along tatil na umaupin na question o sino hati na presente kongreso senator para ng mamamayla matanis din ay Article 11 dito sa Siriman Constitution ileleg niya na todo ganansya na harisibi i-MPO na ipaunaw interes ikadasakan para halong gi general fund malago na by famaisin ko waha gaisensya umamenda do da earmark de da basta na umafay slush fund do na gikada gisitay gobernamento sa lapik para umaadaw do malavan tafaisin iman hati para halong giman mamamay lagi legislatura da sa neo-estudia este from 1.6 to 2 million nasa lapi dan tantos mas 2 milyon gisakan tanahalong da ako da sumisya da sa lapi general fund human what to do impiramente pa NMD sa todo murid mo mireresi malavan lay da tatsuli sa lapita data earmark para necesidad in Northern Marianas Descendant minagoy malago napapay-facing na ito nakawilin siya matsoki legislative initiative si Madam President na dos na ito niya legislative initiative in 3 years ago estapago sa kami
estapago ko masusun pago ko rin
na sa matuma na i-deposit para Northern Marianas Vicente
tatanalom tatanalom na sige pala si Antilacio si President Edith De Leon Guerrero why don't you comment on the question may mention si Kuri. Yes, go ahead.
Buenas, good morning, Kuri.
Buenas, Madam President.
Okay, ilang mo questiones, ilang mo concerns, manig mo pa na ogan. Pagkadesi nigin ang question sa pinansigin na debit atan na sa MPOT sa anbenta atan tatin mo introduce Senate Legislative Initiative nigagi pa ako isang papa na guma regarding national to sa debit na siguro na i-beneficio i-adyan na sa lopi yung mahalo para general fund i-intensyon is okay initiative po mas poro manasangi ko sa kisinya umatsubi na sa lopi so manapanyaw mas para beneficio ni NMDs. And again, I also know introduce it again sa man tiempo na sa lopi trust i-presente na manera maski yung antilasis o maski 100 million is on your portfolio value. between those na no fund portfolio, memorial funds and the general fund. So immediately after administration of the trust, the Illinois Constitution as an demonizing is an expenditure MPOT, umanahalo dati sa local general fund. And again, introduce as an initiative for Matulaika is in a producing the Constitution. Because the tasuli sila sa local, yung ano para general fund, so manasuwa, so manasahing para intended beneficiaries of the trust fund money.
Okay. Thank you, Neno, no President. That's it. Nangarata kulit. That's it. Public comment. The landline guazo mo reaction, comment, or nesti dos na bisitata i third senatorial candidates. Inon mo po favor. We'll limit to 1 minute. Yes. 1 minute, please.
Hindi na klase debate and dos pa ako ni mo presenta siya. Hindi pa ako na klase politika preciso. La ugepan mayroon dos na marespeta. La uno na champion como iban na NMDs, como Azimas, como Senate President, si Edith Bilang Guerrero. Isa uno na elected official, como mumuzi y NMDs. La isa como walk is of co-opinion. Isa champion in NMDs. Tapos malas at siya muna, unay anxious and question na para yung elected officials sa wani man maleksan ito po taon. Pero uno na question no, kung dati unong madiskuti. Kung pandanisti, idota deficit kasi naman gaji constitution na dito no marikip na retire din may deficit. The question no, apa matugsogi dan apa plano niya ni po ma-retire din may isinamay deficit which is probably over $100 million pago, no? Otro, the question no, pwede si CED, the Common Economic Development Authority. Question no, gano ko, apa plano niya ni para ma-leverage, no? Na autonomous agency ni para sige, unay.
Great, thank you. Nenon Uzo, next caller Vinny, go ahead. Cell phone, please. 1 minute. Wazo mo reaction, comment para dos na candidate. Cell phone, please. You got 1 minute. Okay. We're taking. Okay, nagastige na molon stay. Okay. Na low five mo no volume isang tati. Data na holo mawa loki. What's more question? 1 minute. Comment? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, yes. Okay, Natsadika, 1 minute.
1 minute. Tapos man mapababag lagi ni retirement yung tempon. Tapos sa lapi. Kung siya man na siya nalireview na upang aduragi ang isa na retirement sa mapababa ni todo. Ano ang claim na si Jus Masi?
Okay, si Jus Masi, ano na comment? Gogini yung malum loki comment or true? What is your stance on requiring department heads and directors to have a college degree, minimum bachelor's plus 1 year experience for department heads? Nagi umeno na comment yung malum. Mateksa holo meno. Kumugwa comment entertain na 670-234-5929 sa stay time gini or cell phone. Okay, go ahead. Cell phone, 1 minute. What's mo comment reaction is the visitor. Go ahead. Okay, 1 minute.
Registry and principal must redeem trust funds. Pero sinini sa ang strategy niya pa po na identify ang siya descendant. So we need to have a descendant registry.
O para isi NMD ilaling mo, no?
Yeah, para NMD.
Okay. Good comment. Zeus Mosin, no? Registry for NMD. Okay, Kuri, what additional comment?
Ginawad, kung maulit sa na question na yun, dos no kabadero, ng kabadera na sa Malago, pabayfaisin siya na umasongan ginasun niya hofa masya dosa taswa 2 milyon dan para un earmark 1 milyon kada sakan por dos na programa no naisinya ufina maulik daw tinitun daw may earmark for at least 10 years da ukalamting whether it's ekonomiya or paminawlig itaw-taw isinya maumpi pa ako sa manay ko na ito na mampuswag sa kanaw ina momento lo tayo format so tunga na mega na Northern Manas descent seso humog masangan often na ma-$5 fund sa lapita.
Alright.
Ini na importante wa legislative initiative da uma-open na dos ipago na da pwede next na kandidato no na para na interview ini na stasyon uwaha inepinya data idilinya tapesa mono 4 da dawa na ba itungo para mono sa PNMD ipaw mafa diretso kwenta sa.
Okay, si Zeus mo si Kuri udah si Kuri question niya magay. Gua ha no ta entertain na talo masya dos na ko antes di ta hutsum is that no ta upos stay tempo no 234-5929 landline cell phone 670-287-4536 ini gua beno hutsum yalo mi komunidad wala gatete kanyang gagay gawa kanyang gwa mo reaction comment alright no sinya tatsuli gini alright okay pues mana da naging pausa di landline sa pita gutso di pumamata wala gatete gwa paron isomo comment right naga wala gatete naga. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, unggan gos bonito no o agradeci informasyon na mapega huzung para tafane kungo zana magutso sa gimapusa na semana na gaigizo guahan umasuda azo zan eza señor Sanchez za uno na hutuka na kausinya por favor mapega halum asa curriculum gi high school early on na in a students learning ito na klaseng programa after mano debita educa iman hobin after mano ne power za magufon na babay tungwe nagi or hungo na importante na tauta iman studenteta umatungo man mambendi pues guisa ni mahalog entrepreneurship no education so no bonito nagi na programa za ojalá ramon o gaigeno gi curriculum eskwela gi gini gi siya ni mai. And overall, con respeto para amigo as no Senate President and si Señor Congreso, bonitos and si Zeus Masi para el mensaje ni pago na.
Okay. Pues esta hora no mati hora na para tahutso afilero si Tigomata. Wag ini managang halong di cellphone. We do some background. Wag mo question 1 minute por favor sa oras ta upusit. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so kuleno continue question si Senate President Edith Villanueva menciona por no renewable energy na. Ako na taga na magigka hindi na thermo energy na gagawin na isang kaptan na isang kumwede sa panggang na no taga na magigka hindi para ma-harvest na o kung ma-kusepta na sila manlidano pero hindi micronesia na.
Okay, pues lagi zoom comment kung ma-address na.
Kung ma-address na ito sa hindi mas lumata ito dahil
Marianas at Papay Migration eh.
Nagdadagdag sige muna stay programatan no siya talagwa tano jata itano sa bula siya question ya lumi community sa timanhalong di jota format paugo may siya no ta address separately talagwa community form tano no si Jus Masi neno na comment kana panelos buda sabihan question siya manggagigya lo po di ora ti man umlat siya ni hapa siya patana halo no nauklo na agradecimiento para jota no sponsor para pago na sabado na katsumo neste si Jus Masi para i-dos na kandidato para i-3rd Senatorial District. May kumaigi pa ako takumbida at extendia invitasyon para si Mr. Luis Sablan daw. Tutuwafan na tiyo malumi si Luta, kaubat sa kanya daw. Sinanbang ko ta pansiga mo na gwini, sa gini mamala na tempo, sa pigumazo ta forum lokwe, takumbida First Senatorial District, yung Timonestin na mes, sa guwahagel i-grupo ni Marianas Agupa no sa judges na masya ano post iginintimian in 2nd Senatorial District para ta-extendia no invitasyon para tatuo loki hafa plano niya si Mr. Keith Senator Neighbors para i-mamamayla lo ista tatuwa na ano post sa istahanananga iparomana pamanoy na sinahi dan pamana corona no badzogo chiluta ki inauguration. Alright, po sinigyan no imasusesidi kita timiyan. I-otro gini no tanagwa pano sa bula question si Kuri, bula siya question na tafanafanolong di siya man gwa question niya zata address ako ista tsagya kumumbida halom o sino tanafanolong dokwet so siya maninifefekta. Bula siya question mang dalaylaya galumi komunidad na ifefekta linalata. Sinigyan no na Banotota manggugunggong gihalumi singsung. Bula siya timan mapapatsa siya asunto. Dapod enaw na rason na tatsagi mo ni siya na para ta-extendi masi programata na siya takubre no siya na kwestiyon mismo itaw-taw Marianas. Si Jus Masi talo para dos na bisita. Ini programa Marianas Agupa talo in extendi yung doklo na si Jus Masi. Lasan kuri si Jus Masi kuri singsung giislan sa ipan siya report lokwe siguela agateti na gipresente pa og gizaluta no ano kasi si luta na sige gano mo na mana amutsan ogan gima chali mangi siya na mutsan no sepen man magpapa pwede si Charlie hakumbida i-grupo Marianas Agupa wato gano gimawag niya Jus Masi talo. Os magtitempo Fadelos de para tahutson. I-ora esta pasado 15 minutos. Hango po si tempo lo takatswa mo na este. Otro semana talo tapansigi mo na gwenigi programa Marianas Agupa. Kuri, gwa bisitata para otro semana?
Pagkakagi si
OPD.
dan hindi na sa pwede.
Alright. Pues hindi no para otro semana. Siyempre manalit we need ni tawtaw Indigenous Affairs OPD di mamamayla na Sabado talo ginintroducam giprograman Marianas Agupa in Sen agradece tempo ni manita pa ako na Sabado bonito magay saludo para turudo si Manico i-comment siya maggaidya siya binigi chat lopisiya takubre todo sa bula question tiga sa gyalo ni chat room bulay text manhalom siya question lo siya ta cover gusto nagway no na section talogi man mamamayla siya si Jus Masi para todo sanjo adios ingway za hando todo